Story 1: The Haunting on Elm Street. Halloween had cast its eerie spell on the quiet suburban neighborhood of Elm Street. The crisp autumn air was filled with the laughter of children in costumes, the rustling of leaves, and the tantalizing aroma of sweet treats. Elm Street was known for its friendly community, but there was one house that sent shivers down the spines of those who dared to venture near: the old, decrepit mansion next door to Sarah's home. Sarah, a skeptical teenager with a penchant for the mysterious, had always been drawn to that foreboding mansion. She watched as the neighborhood children whispered rumors about the house, its dark history, and its reclusive owner, Mr. Thompson. Mr. Thompson had lived there for decades, but nobody really knew him. He was an enigma, a shadow in the neighborhood, never seen in the daylight, only when the moon hung low in the sky. On this Halloween night, the allure of the unknown was too powerful to resist. As Sarah and her friends roamed the neighborhood in their spooky costumes, her gaze was inexorably drawn to the eerie house next door. The mansion's grandeur had long faded, leaving it a crumbling relic of the past. Sarah's heart pounded as she decided it was time to explore the house and unravel its mysteries. With her friends hesitating at the edge of the property, Sarah summoned her courage and approached the front door. She knocked, but there was no response. The house was eerily silent. Undeterred, she turned the knob and entered the dimly lit foyer. The air was heavy with a musty, ancient scent, and the creaking of the floorboards seemed to whisper secrets. As Sarah delved deeper into the mansion, she discovered a hidden door leading to a small, candlelit room. There, at an ornate table, sat Mr. Thompson. His eyes were like two cold, gleaming marbles, and his gaze sent a chill down Sarah's spine. He motioned for her to sit across from him. "Welcome, Sarah," he said, his voice a mere whisper. Sarah's curiosity mingled with trepidation as she replied, "How do you know my name?" "Many things are known to me," Mr. Thompson said cryptically, "but not all should be known." Intrigued and unnerved, Sarah listened as Mr. Thompson spun a tale of a curse that had befallen Elm Street long ago. The curse, he claimed, was tied to the house itself and could only be broken by someone brave enough to confront the spirits that dwelled within. Sarah dismissed his story as the ramblings of a madman, but something in the way he spoke, something in the haunted look in his eyes, gave her pause. To prove his point, Mr. Thompson suggested a seance. He produced a dusty old Ouija board and lit a black candle. Sarah's friends had long since abandoned her, too afraid to follow her into the abyss of the unknown. With a deep breath, she agreed to the seance, her skepticism waning in the face of the eerie atmosphere. As the planchette moved across the board, a frigid gust of wind swept through the room, extinguishing the candle. The darkness that engulfed them was suffocating, and Sarah's heart pounded in her chest. The seance had summoned something, and it was not benevolent. In the pitch-black room, a multitude of whispers echoed around her. Sarah felt a spectral presence drawing near. It brushed her cheek with an icy breath, and she could sense an overwhelming sorrow and anger. Sarah had unwittingly awakened the vengeful spirits that had been trapped by the curse on Elm Street. Just when panic threatened to consume her, a single, mournful word emanated from the shadows: "Run." The word was laden with despair, and Sarah needed no further encouragement. She bolted from the room, slamming the door behind her, leaving Mr. Thompson and the malevolent spirits inside. As she fled the mansion, a deafening chorus of anguished cries filled the night, and the old house seemed to shudder as the curse's grip tightened. Sarah's heart pounded, and she knew she had unwittingly stirred something that should have been left undisturbed. For weeks afterward, the eerie house on Elm Street fell into silence. Mr. Thompson vanished, never to be seen again, and Sarah, while forever changed by her encounter with the supernatural, could only hope that the curse had been appeased. But Elm Street would never be the same. The mysterious mansion remained, whispering secrets to those who dared to listen, a grim reminder that meddling with the supernatural can have chilling consequences. As you listen to this story and ponder the haunting events of Elm Street, remember that sometimes curiosity can lead us down a path we may never return from. The spirits of the past linger in the darkness, waiting for their moment to be heard. Be cautious on Halloween night, for the supernatural may be closer than you think. Story 2: The Midnight Masquerade. The autumn night was heavy with secrets and mysteries, and at the heart of it all was the grand old mansion that had stood for centuries. Its once elegant walls were cracked and faded, yet the allure of the Midnight Masquerade, the most exclusive event of the Halloween season, persisted. The decrepit mansion's secrets were buried deep within its walls, waiting for the moment when they would be revealed. Emma, a young woman with a penchant for the dramatic, had secured an invitation to the Midnight Masquerade through a stroke of luck, or perhaps something more sinister. Her elaborate mask concealed her identity as she ascended the mansion's grand staircase, entering a world of opulence and enigma. The ballroom was bathed in the soft glow of candlelight, and the guests, each masked and dressed in extravagant costumes, moved with grace and mystery. Emma felt a shiver crawl down her spine as she realized that behind every mask was a concealed identity, a persona carefully chosen for the night. She couldn't help but wonder what lay behind those alluring disguises. As the evening wore on, a game of deadly intrigue began. Guests exchanged whispers and secrets, subtly maneuvering to uncover the truth about one another. Emma was swept into this dance of deception, her curiosity piqued. She, too, wanted to unearth the mysteries hidden within these opulent walls. Amidst the elegance and deceit, Emma found herself captivated by a masked man, the enigmatic host of the Midnight Masquerade. His mask was an intricately carved raven with piercing onyx eyes, and he moved with a grace and charm that set him apart from the others. As he approached her, a palpable tension filled the air. "Care to dance?" he asked, extending a gloved hand. Emma hesitated only for a moment before accepting. Their waltz took them across the grand ballroom, but as the music swirled around them, Emma couldn't shake the feeling that the masked host held secrets even more compelling than the rest. She was determined to unveil the truth that lay behind his enigmatic facade. Amid the twirl of masks and the web of intrigue, Emma encountered a fellow guest who had a reputation for being a collector of secrets. As they conversed, the collector revealed a hidden room within the mansion, a room that, according to whispers, held the darkest secrets of all. Intrigued by this revelation, Emma decided to venture deeper into the mansion, leaving the alluring dance behind. The collector offered her a key that would unlock the door to the room of secrets. With trepidation, Emma descended a narrow staircase, her footsteps echoing in the dimly lit corridor. As she approached the heavy wooden door, her heart raced. The key slid effortlessly into the lock, and with a click, the door creaked open. Emma's breath caught as she stepped into the room, her candle casting flickering shadows on the ancient tapestries that adorned the walls. The room was filled with masks, hundreds of them, each one more haunting than the last. Emma's fingers traced the intricate designs, feeling the weight of the secrets they concealed. She was drawn to a mask that seemed almost human, with tear-shaped eye holes and an expression of eternal sorrow. It exuded a palpable sense of despair. Emma's hands trembled as she lifted the mask, and as she stared into the empty eye holes, a sensation of dread washed over her. It was as if the mask were whispering to her, revealing the darkest of truths. She could feel the weight of centuries of deception, the pain of countless souls who had worn these masks, hiding behind their chosen identities. It was then that the masked host appeared, standing in the doorway with a chilling smile. "You've found the room of secrets, my dear," he said, his voice dripping with malevolence. Emma's heart pounded as she realized that the secrets of the Midnight Masquerade were not the petty intrigues of the guests, but something far more sinister. She had stumbled upon the truth that lay behind the masks they all wore, a truth that had been concealed for a generation. As the masked host approached, his raven mask seemed to take on a life of its own, its onyx eyes fixated on Emma. With a shock, she understood that the mask was not just an accessory but a vessel, a conduit for the malevolent spirit that lurked within. The shocking unmasking revealed the host's true identity, or lack thereof. He was no more than a puppet, a vessel for the dark forces that inhabited the mansion. With an eerie chant, the room came alive with the spirits of the past, each one yearning for release from the masks they had been trapped in. The walls of the mansion seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy as the spirits swirled around Emma, their mournful wails filling the room. She had uncovered a truth that was never meant to be revealed, a truth that threatened to consume her very soul. As she faced the malevolent spirits, Emma knew that her fate was sealed. The Midnight Masquerade, with its opulence and deception, had ensnared her in a web of darkness from which there was no escape. As you listen to this tale, remember that the masks we wear, both literal and metaphorical, can conceal the most terrifying truths. Deception and intrigue often come at a price, and sometimes it's a price we're not prepared to pay. The secrets of the Midnight Masquerade serve as a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk behind even the most beautiful of facades. Story 3: The Pumpkin Patch Curse. In the dimming light of the Halloween Eve, on the outskirts of a small town, there existed a sprawling pumpkin patch, known to all as Harrowing Hollow. Its reputation was not for the biggest pumpkins or the most vibrant gourds. but rather for the sinister legends that surrounded it. Harrowing Hollow was believed to be cursed, and every Halloween, the air carried whispers of ghostly apparitions seeking retribution. At the heart of this tale was Jake, a skeptical farmer who had inherited Harrowing Hollow from his ancestors. He scoffed at the superstitious townsfolk who spoke of curses and restless spirits, believing instead in hard work and profit. To him, the pumpkin patch was nothing more than a source of income, and he dismissed the legends as mere nonsense. The story began with an ominous chill in the air, the evening of Halloween approaching rapidly. Jake had spent the day tending to his pumpkins, ensuring they were pristine for the eager customers who would soon arrive. Yet, as twilight descended and the sun dipped below the horizon, he couldn't ignore the palpable sense of unease that settled upon the land. As the first stars appeared in the night sky, Jake noticed an eerie, misty fog rolling in from the nearby woods. It slithered through the rows of pumpkins, obscuring the path ahead. With a lantern in hand, Jake set out to investigate the unnatural phenomenon, his skepticism waning with each step. Deep within the pumpkin patch, where the fog was thickest, a voice whispered from the darkness. "Jake," it beckoned, a soft and haunting murmur that sent a shiver down his spine. Startled, he looked around but saw no one. "Who's there?" he called out, but received only silence in return. Suddenly, an ethereal figure emerged from the mist. It was a young girl, no more than 12 years old, with pale skin and long, flowing hair that seemed to shimmer like moonlight. She was dressed in a tattered, 19th century gown and carried a wilted bouquet of dried flowers. "Who are you?" Jake asked, his voice trembling. "I am Lily," the ghostly girl replied, her eyes as empty as the void. "I died in this very patch, wronged by your ancestors, and now I seek justice." Jake's heart pounded in his chest as he listened to Lily's tale of woe. Decades ago, the land had belonged to her family, and they had been cheated out of their rightful inheritance by Jake's forebears. In their quest for riches, they had stolen the pumpkin patch, and in doing so, had condemned Lily and her siblings to a life of suffering and poverty. Lily's voice quivered with anger and sorrow as she recounted how they had perished in the harsh winters that followed, their deaths a direct result of the greed and injustice committed against them. "The curse that now plagued Harrowing Hollow," Lily explained, "was a manifestation of her family's enduring anger and desire for retribution. And on Halloween night, their spirits were allowed to walk the earth, seeking justice for the wrongs that had been done to them." As the truth of the curse dawned on Jake, his skepticism crumbled, replaced by guilt and fear. He understood that the spirits of the wronged children were now vengeful, and he was the heir to the legacy of their suffering. Desperate to break the curse, Jake pleaded with Lily to guide him in making amends for his family's past sins. Together, they embarked on a quest to unearth the truth about the stolen inheritance and to find a way to appease the spirits of the wronged children. In the moonlight, they uncovered long-forgotten letters and documents in an ancient chest hidden beneath the farmhouse floorboards. These documents revealed the sordid history of the stolen land, the injustices that had been committed, and the names of those who had conspired against Lily and her family. With this newfound knowledge, Jake and Lily conducted a ritual of remembrance, gathering the townspeople to acknowledge the injustices of the past and pay tribute to the spirits who had suffered. The pumpkin patch, once cursed, began to bloom anew, its pumpkins vibrant and full of life. As the first rays of dawn broke over the horizon, Lily's ghostly form began to fade. She turned to Jake with a ghostly smile. "The curse has been lifted," she said. "Your ancestors' debts have been paid." With those words, she vanished into the morning mist, leaving behind a pumpkin patch transformed, no longer a place of despair, but one of rebirth and redemption. As you listen to this story, remember that the consequences of greed and injustice have a way of lingering through generations. Sometimes, it takes a recognition of past wrongs and a willingness to make amends to break the curse of the past. The tale of Harrowing Hollow serves as a haunting reminder that the spirits of the wronged are not easily appeased, and their quest for justice can endure long after their mortal lives have ended. Story 4: The Witches of Blackwood Forest. On the eve of Halloween, the moon hung low in the sky, casting an eerie, silver glow over Blackwood Forest. This ancient and dense woodland had long been rumored to be a place of dark magic, where secrets of the arcane were whispered among the twisted trees and creeping vines. Mia, an inquisitive girl with a thirst for knowledge and adventure, had always been drawn to the mysterious forest. She had heard the tales of witches who dwelled deep within its heart, practicing their forbidden arts and invoking dark spirits on this night of the year. With a heart full of curiosity and the thrill of the unknown coursing through her veins, Mia ventured into Blackwood Forest as the shadows grew long. Her footsteps were muffled by the thick carpet of leaves that blanketed the forest floor, and the air was heavy with the scent of damp earth and decay. As Mia ventured deeper into the woods, she began to hear faint, haunting melodies that seemed to emanate from the very trees themselves. They beckoned her further into the forest, luring her like a siren's call. Unable to resist, she followed the ghostly music to a clearing bathed in an eerie, silvery light. In the center of the clearing, Mia discovered a circle of ancient stones, worn smooth by centuries of rituals. Within the circle stood a coven of witches, their faces hidden by grotesque masks and their bodies draped in dark, tattered robes. Their chants and incantations filled the air with an otherworldly resonance. At the center of the coven was an ornate, hexed book, bound in human skin and inked in blood. Mia's heart raced as she recognized the book as the legendary Tome of Shadows, a repository of dark knowledge and forbidden secrets. The allure of the forbidden knowledge it contained drew her in like a moth to a flame. In her desire to explore the secrets of the book, Mia unwittingly stepped into the witches' circle, her presence interrupting their ritual. The coven's masked eyes turned towards her, their expressions hidden beneath grotesque visages. For a moment, the forest fell into a heavy silence, the tension palpable. One of the witches, with a mask of twisted thorns and gnarled roots, stepped forward and raised a gnarled finger. "You have interrupted our sacred rites, intruder," she hissed. "You must pay the price." Fear coursed through Mia as she realized the danger she had stumbled upon. She pleaded for forgiveness, explaining that her curiosity had led her here, that she meant no harm. But the witches were unrelenting, their faces obscured and their motives shrouded in darkness. The coven began a ritual, their chants growing louder and more sinister. The Tome of Shadows, open to a page filled with arcane symbols, emitted an unholy glow that surrounded me. She felt her limbs grow heavy, her vision blurred, and her senses distorted. The forest seemed to close in around her as she was transported to a realm of shadows and despair. Here, spirits of the past and creatures of the night circled, whispering dark secrets and enticing her with promises of power and knowledge. Mia's mind teetered on the brink of madness as the witches chanted, the boundaries between reality and nightmare blurring. In her heart, she knew that she must fight to regain her freedom and break the witches' hold on her. With every ounce of strength she could muster, Mia seized the cursed book, its pages crackling with dark energy. The forest shook as she recited an incantation of her own, one she had learned from the very book she sought to possess. The ground trembled beneath her, and the witches' faces twisted in horror as their own power turned against them. The enchantment broke, the realm of shadows dissipating like smoke in the wind. Mia found herself back in the clearing, the coven of witches defeated and the Tome of Shadows safely in her hands. Her newfound knowledge, however, came at a great cost. As she gazed upon the defeated witches, their masks now devoid of life, Mia understood the perilous allure of forbidden knowledge. The power of the arcane came with a darkness that could consume even the most curious of hearts. Mia returned from Blackwood Forest, the Tome of Shadows a heavy burden. She sealed it away, vowing to protect the world from its malevolent secrets. The forest, once foreboding and enchanted, was silent, as if it too had absorbed the lesson of the night. As you listen to this tale, remember that the allure of forbidden knowledge can be a treacherous path, leading those who seek it into realms of darkness and danger. The witches of Blackwood Forest serve as a chilling reminder that some secrets are better left undiscovered, for the consequences of meddling with the arcane can be dire and irreversible. Story 5. The Phantom Carnival. Halloween night settled over the town like a thick shroud, and there, at the edge of it all, stood the abandoned carnival of forgotten dreams. The carnival, long past its heyday, had become a decaying maze of rusted rides and faded banners, a place where memories of laughter had turned to echoes of despair. Amidst the decaying rides and crumbling booths was Sam, a thrill-seeker with an insatiable appetite for adventure. The stories of the Phantom Carnival had drawn him in. Whispers of ghostly performers and malevolent spirits that walked the fog-laden grounds on this darkest of nights. The thrill of exploring the macabre and the unknown enticed him. As Sam ventured deeper into the carnival, he could feel the weight of the past pressing in around him. The rusted skeletons of rides stood as silent sentinels, their colorful paint long faded into shades of gray. Tattered banners flapped in the breeze, their vibrant promises of joy and wonder now mocking specters of their former selves. With each step, Sam sensed an eerie presence, the feeling of being watched by invisible eyes. He pressed on, his pulse quickening and his breath visible in the chill of the night. His curiosity outweighed his fear. As he approached the heart of the carnival, the once lively Midway, Sam stumbled upon a carousel frozen in time. Its horses, intricately carved and adorned with brass and crystal, stood motionless, their glass eyes gleaming with a sinister light. The haunting tune of the calliope organ filled the air, though no one was there to play it. With a mix of trepidation and fascination, Sam mounted one of the carousel horses, and with a creak, the ride began to turn. Its ghostly occupants, the riders of yesteryear, came to life, their hollow eyes staring ahead with a sense of longing and despair. They beckoned Sam to join them, their spectral hands reaching out. Fear surged through Sam as he realized that he was caught in a macabre carnival ride, unable to escape the grasp of the ghostly riders. The carousel spun faster and faster, a maddening whirl of colors and haunting melodies, and Sam's vision blurred as he was drawn into the ghostly world of the past. As the ride slowed to a halt, Sam found himself in an unsettling carnival parade. Ghostly performers in tattered costumes danced and twirled around him, their laughter and music hollow and eerie. The parade moved through the carnival, its spectral procession a nightmarish display of forgotten joy. In the distance, Sam spotted a malevolent figure, the ringmaster of this spectral carnival. His top hat and twisted grin sent shivers down Sam's spine. The ringmaster beckoned him closer, and Sam couldn't resist. He was drawn into the ringmaster's dark circus, unable to escape the lure of the unknown. As Sam ventured deeper into the circus, he discovered a series of sideshow acts that defied logic and reason. The bearded lady, with her wild, untamed hair, sang a mournful song of loss. The fire eater, with a skeletal grin, devoured flames that danced and flickered with ghostly light. And the contortionist, her body twisted and grotesque, moved with an eerie grace that chilled Sam to the bone. With each act, the malevolent spirits of the carnival grew stronger, their grip on Sam tightening. The carnival had become a nightmarish realm where the thrills of the past were paid for with an eternity of suffering. As the night wore on, Sam's courage waned, and he realized that he was trapped in this dark carnival, unable to escape the malevolent spirits that sought to claim him. The rides and performers that had once entertained had become instruments of torment, and Sam had become an unwitting participant in their sinister show. Desperate to break free from the grip of the malevolent spirits, Sam stumbled upon a mysterious tent, its entrance marked by an ancient and ominous sigil. Inside, he discovered a fortune teller, her crystal ball aglow with an eerie light. She beckoned Sam to gaze into the ball, and as he did, he saw a vision of the carnival's past. In the vision, he witnessed the carnival's rise and fall, the greed and exploitation that had led to its downfall, and the anguish of the spirits who had been wronged. Sam understood that the malevolent spirits sought revenge, their suffering and anger manifesting in the haunting spectacle of the carnival. With newfound knowledge and determination, Sam confronted the ringmaster, the source of the malevolent spirit's power. He challenged the ringmaster, demanding that the carnival's cycle of torment be broken. In a chilling showdown, Sam uncovered the truth behind the malevolent spirits and the consequences of seeking thrills at the expense of others. As you listen to this tale, remember that the pursuit of thrills and adventure can come at a high cost, especially when it involves the exploitation and suffering of others. The Phantom Carnival serves as a haunting reminder that the allure of the unknown can lead to dark and perilous places, where the line between curiosity and malevolence blurs, and the price of indulgence is often paid in eternity. Story 6. The Ghostly Children of Willow Street. Halloween night descended over Willow Street, casting a desolate and eerie ambience over the once quiet neighborhood. Mark, a skeptic by nature, had recently moved to this old and forgotten street, seeking a fresh start and a sense of solitude. Little did he know that Willow Street held secrets that would challenge his skepticism and plunge him into the darkest of mysteries. As Mark settled into his new home, he couldn't help but notice that the neighborhood held a heavy atmosphere, as if the very air whispered tales of sorrow and loss. The houses on Willow Street stood in varying degrees of disrepair, their peeling paint and broken windows bearing witness to years of neglect. Yet, it was the abandoned playground at the end of the street that caught Mark's attention. The rusted swings creaked with each gust of wind, and the old slide was cracked and weathered. It was a place that seemed frozen in time, a relic of a bygone era. Mark had heard tales from the neighbors about the children who had disappeared from this street years ago, leaving behind a haunting emptiness that still lingered. One night, as Mark settled into his new home, he heard faint whispers, soft and haunting, carried by the autumn breeze. They seemed to come from the old playground, and though he couldn't discern the words, their eerie presence sent a shiver down his spine. He was not a believer in the supernatural, but the air of Willow Street held secrets he could not ignore. The haunting whispers continued, growing louder and more persistent with each passing night. Mark's skepticism gave way to curiosity, and he began to investigate the playground, searching for the source of the eerie voices. He soon discovered a collection of mysterious drawings etched into the aged wood of the playground's equipment. The drawings depicted scenes of children playing, their faces filled with joy and innocence. But as Mark examined them more closely, he realized that there was a sense of melancholy in the drawings, a hint of sorrow that was impossible to ignore. It was as if the children had captured a moment of happiness frozen in time, yet tinged with the knowledge of impending tragedy. Mark decided to dig deeper into the history of Willow Street, searching for clues about the lost children. As he delved into old records and faded newspaper articles, he uncovered a heartbreaking tale of a group of children who had mysteriously vanished one Halloween night many years ago. Their disappearance had remained unsolved, a dark cloud hanging over Willow Street. With the weight of the past bearing down on him, Mark felt compelled to uncover the truth. He sought out the help of his neighbors, hoping to gather information and insights into the lost children. Together, they decided to conduct a midnight seance at the playground, a last-ditch effort to communicate with the spirits that seemed to linger in the shadows. As the clock struck midnight on Halloween, Mark and his neighbors gathered around the old playground, their hearts heavy with anticipation. With candles flickering in the darkness and a makeshift seance circle drawn on the ground, they began to call out to the lost children, their voices trembling with uncertainty. At first, there was only silence, the night air heavy with the weight of the past. But then, as if in response to their pleas, the playground came alive with a ghostly glow. The swings swayed gently in the wind, and the drawings on the playground equipment seemed to come to life, the figures of the lost children dancing and playing before their eyes. The children's spirits, though ethereal and transparent, radiated a sense of innocence and longing. They spoke in whispers, their voices filled with sadness and a desire to be remembered. They revealed the tragic events of that fateful Halloween night, when they had disappeared without a trace, leaving their families and the neighborhood in a state of perpetual mourning. As the seance continued, Mark and his neighbors listened intently, their skepticism vanquished by the overwhelming presence of the lost children. The children spoke of the pain of being forgotten and the anguish of never having their stories told. They yearned to be remembered, to have their names spoken once more. With newfound determination, Mark and his neighbors embarked on a mission to uncover the truth about the lost children of Willow Street. They delved into archives and records, piecing together the events that had led to their disappearance. Through their efforts, they were able to bring the children's stories to light, honoring their memory and finally giving them the recognition they deserved. As you listen to this tale, remember that the impact of unresolved past tragedies can linger, casting a haunting shadow over a neighborhood and its inhabitants. The ghostly children of Willow Street serves as a chilling reminder of the importance of remembering those who have been forgotten, and the profound impact that the past can have on the present. Story 7: The Cursed Costume Shop. Halloween night draped the world in its chilling embrace, and within the dimly lit streets of the town, an old, unassuming costume shop named Sartorial Shadows beckoned to those seeking the extraordinary. Olivia, a costume enthusiast with a love for the strange and unique, had heard whispers of the peculiar shop from fellow enthusiasts, and had decided to pay a visit. As she stepped inside, the shop exuded an eerie aura that sent shivers down her spine. The shelves were lined with costumes of a bygone era, their fabrics whispering tales of long-forgotten characters and eras. The shop's owner, a sinister figure with a sardonic smile, watched her closely, his eyes gleaming with a malevolent gleam. Among the rows of costumes, Olivia's gaze fell upon a peculiar ensemble that seemed out of place amidst the others. It was an elaborate dress that appeared to belong to a time long past, its fabric rich and opulent. Olivia's fingers traced the intricate details, and as she touched the dress, a sense of foreboding washed over her. The shop owner approached, his voice a low, sinister purr. "Ah, the masquerader's finery. A unique choice, my dear. It's said to be the most extraordinary costume ever created. It would be the life of any party." Olivia hesitated but couldn't resist the allure of the costume. She purchased it, feeling as if she were embarking on a transformation into a character of a bygone era. That night, as she prepared for a Halloween party, Olivia donned the masquerader's finery. The dress fit her like a second skin, and the moment it touched her, she felt a rush of energy and an uncanny transformation. It was as if the costume had a life of its own, molding itself to her body and her essence. When Olivia looked in the mirror, she saw not her own reflection, but that of the character the dress represented, a captivating figure from a forgotten era. Her eyes had taken on a strange, otherworldly hue, and her movements were graceful and calculated. She was the masquerader, a character whose story was shrouded in mystery. As Olivia arrived at the Halloween party, she felt a profound shift in her identity. She moved with an elegance and charisma that drew the attention of everyone in attendance. The guests marveled at her, unable to look away from the enchanting presence she exuded. The party soon took on a surreal and eerie atmosphere. The other guests, donning their own costumes, began to feel as though they had become the characters they portrayed. The line between reality and illusion blurred, and the once joyous celebration took on a disconcerting and unpredictable quality. As Olivia navigated the party, she noticed that the shop owner had also appeared in a costume, though his sinister presence remained unchanged. He watched her with a malevolent smile, his eyes revealing a knowing glint. It was clear that the costume in the shop held a power beyond anything Olivia had imagined. As the night wore on, the guests grew increasingly entangled in their new identities, unable to break free from the personas they had adopted. It was as if the costumes had become a curse, locking them into roles they could not escape. Panic and confusion spread among the partygoers as they struggled to regain control over their own identities. Olivia realized that she had to find a way to break the curse, to free herself and the others from the relentless grip of the costume. She turned to the shop owner, the one who seemed to hold the key to their fate, and confronted him. With a malevolent grin, the shop owner revealed the truth. The costumes of sartorial shadows were not mere outfits. They were vessels of ancient magic, imbued with the ability to transform those who wore them into the characters they represented. The curse was an unintended consequence of the magic, a side effect that had trapped the wearers in their roles. Olivia, determined to save herself and the others, demanded a solution. The shop owner, amused by her tenacity, presented a cryptic riddle that held the key to breaking the curse. With time running out, Olivia deciphered the riddle, realizing that the answer lay in the power of identity and transformation. To break free from the curse, she needed to embrace her true self, rejecting the enchantment of the costume that had consumed her. In a dramatic act of self-realization, Olivia shed the masquerader's finery and returned to her own identity. The moment she removed the dress, the curse began to unravel. The other partygoers followed her lead, casting off their costumes one by one. As the last traces of the curse dissipated, the shop owner's sinister demeanor transformed into one of grudging admiration. He had underestimated Olivia's determination and resourcefulness. The partygoers, now free from the costume's grasp, emerged from their enchantment, bewildered and grateful. Olivia, with her newfound knowledge and understanding of the costume's magic, took it upon herself to safeguard the shop's dark secret, ensuring that no one else would fall victim to its cursed allure. As you listen to this tale, remember that the power of identity and transformation can be a double-edged sword. The cursed costume shop serves as a chilling reminder that the allure of becoming someone else can come at a high cost, and the consequences of embracing a new identity can be far more profound than one might imagine. Story 8. The Phantoms of All Hallows Manor. On a moonlit Halloween night, the imposing All Hallows Manor loomed in the distance, its towering spires and shadowed windows casting eerie silhouettes against the night sky. The manor had long been the subject of ghostly tales and whispered legends, a place where restless spirits were said to wander. David, a seasoned paranormal investigator with a relentless curiosity, had heard the stories of All Hallows Manor for years. Determined to uncover the truth behind the haunted estate, he had come to spend the night within its walls, armed with his equipment and an unwavering skepticism. As David crossed the threshold into the manor, a sudden chill settled over him, and the air seemed to thicken with anticipation. The ornate grand hall, adorned with dusty chandeliers and faded portraits, felt like a place where time had stopped. Shadows danced in the corners of his vision, and the silence was deafening. With each step, David's skepticism waned, and he couldn't help but feel as though the manor itself watched him with an uncanny awareness. He knew he was in a place where the line between the living and the dead blurred, and the pursuit of truth was a perilous endeavor. David began his investigation, his equipment recording every sound and fluctuation in the air. He explored the dimly lit hallways, his footsteps echoing through the empty chambers. It wasn't long before he began to experience strange occurrences, inexplicable and unnerving. Doors creaked open of their own accord, and phantom footsteps echoed through the hallways. A chill breeze seemed to sweep through rooms, extinguishing candles and sending shivers down David's spine. His skepticism was tested as he captured faint, ghostly whispers on his recording equipment. As the night wore on, David couldn't deny the presence of restless spirits within the manor. Apparitions flickered in his peripheral vision, their faces etched with sorrow and longing. They appeared and disappeared, as if seeking to communicate some hidden truth. David, undeterred by the spectral revelations, decided to conduct a seance in an attempt to communicate with the spirits. He lit a circle of candles in the grand hall, their flickering flames casting eerie, dancing shadows on the walls. As he began to call out to the spirits, the manor seemed to respond with a sudden surge of energy. The temperature dropped, and the candles flickered wildly, their flames burning an otherworldly blue. A spectral presence filled the room, and David felt as though he were not alone. The spirits, restless and eager to communicate, began to reveal their stories. Through David's questions, he learned that All Hallows Manor was a place of torment for the spirits who dwelled within. They were trapped, unable to move on to the afterlife, bound to the manor by a tragic history of betrayal and violence. The manor had become their prison, and they longed to be free. As the seance continued, David felt a sense of empathy and connection with the spirits. He realized that they were not malevolent entities but lost souls yearning for release. In a dramatic revelation, the spirits conveyed a message that held the key to their salvation. With the newfound knowledge, David ventured deeper into the manor, guided by the spirits. He uncovered a hidden chamber, long forgotten and concealed from the living world. In the chamber, he found a collection of personal mementos and a journal that detailed the manor's grim history. The journal revealed a story of greed, betrayal, and tragedy. The manor's former owner had deceived and wronged those who had served him, leading to a series of brutal and unjust deaths. The spirits were the victims of a dark and unresolved past, their torment a consequence of the atrocities committed within the manor's walls. David understood that the only way to free the spirits was to reveal the truth of their tragic history. He documented the story and the spirits' plea for redemption, vowing to share it with the world. With the Spirit's guidance, David performed a ritual of release, allowing the restless souls to find peace and move on to the afterlife. As he did, the manor seemed to sigh in relief, its malevolent presence dissipating, and the air grew lighter. As you listen to this tale, remember that the pursuit of truth in the face of the unknown can lead to discoveries that challenge our skepticism and understanding of the supernatural. The Phantoms of All Hallows Manor serves as a haunting reminder that the past can cast a long shadow, and sometimes it takes a determined investigator to shine a light on the darkness and grant restless spirits the redemption they seek. Story 9. The Witching Hour at the Abandoned Asylum. On a moonless Halloween night, an abandoned and decrepit asylum stood as a shadowy sentinel on the outskirts of town, a grim relic of the past. Lisa, a thrill-seeker known for her courage and love of the eerie, had heard tales of the asylum's terrifying history and had decided to test her limits with an exploration of its haunted halls. She was joined by a group of friends, equally drawn to the macabre. As they approached the asylum, its sinister presence loomed large, its crumbling facade and broken windows casting grotesque shapes in the moonlight. The friends had brought flashlights, eager to uncover the secrets that lay within the dark and forbidding structure. They had heard the stories, the tales of the asylum's gruesome past, the experiments gone wrong, and the tormented souls that still lingered within. It was said that the place had been cursed, a repository of suffering and malevolent spirits. Lisa's friends urged caution, warning her of the danger of trespassing into such a place. But her insatiable curiosity overruled their fears. She pushed open the asylum's creaking door, and they stepped inside, the air thick with an oppressive atmosphere. The asylum was a maze of decayed hallways and long-forgotten rooms. The walls bore the marks of insanity, covered in graffiti and the remnants of desperate messages left by those who had once been confined within. The friends' flashlights cut through the darkness, revealing unsettling scenes of abandoned beds and rusted restraints. As they ventured deeper into the asylum, they began to experience a series of unexplainable events. Shadows seemed to move on their own, whispers echoed through the hallways, and cold spots sent shivers down their spines. Lisa's friends grew increasingly uneasy, their laughter turning to anxious glances. In one room, they stumbled upon a pile of discarded dolls, their eyes empty and lifeless. Lisa felt a chill creep over her, and the sense that they were being watched by unseen eyes intensified. Her friends suggested leaving, but Lisa's determination to uncover the asylum's secrets urged her forward. They reached the heart of the asylum, a chamber with crumbling walls and a broken, ancient pentagram etched onto the floor. Lisa's flashlight flickered, and an eerie chill filled the room as they sensed the presence of something malevolent. Suddenly, a spectral figure emerged, a tortured soul with hollow eyes and outstretched arms. The figure whispered incoherent words, its voice a guttural, anguished cry. The friends recoiled in terror, their hearts pounding. The entity's presence grew stronger, and a nightmarish vision enveloped the group. They saw glimpses of the asylum's horrific past, the torment and suffering that had taken place within its walls. It was a place of madness, where the line between reality and delusion blurred. Lisa and her friends were trapped within the vision, unable to escape the overwhelming horror that engulfed them. The malevolent entity seemed to feed on their fear, growing stronger with each passing moment. As the vision continued, the entity's grip on them tightened, and it became clear that their only hope was to flee the asylum. They stumbled through the dark hallways, pursued by the relentless specter that haunted the asylum's cursed halls. The friends' fear was palpable, their footsteps echoing in a frantic race for survival. The entity's voice grew louder, its wails of torment echoing through the asylum, sending shivers down their spines. Lisa knew that they were running out of time, that the malevolent entity sought to claim their souls, adding them to the roster of tormented spirits that haunted the asylum. With every ounce of strength and determination, they pushed forward, reaching the asylum's entrance. As they burst through the asylum's doors, the malevolent presence seemed to dissipate, leaving them gasping for breath in the moonlit night. The asylum stood silent and foreboding behind them, its secrets still locked within. Lisa and her friends had survived their encounter with the malevolent entity, but they had also learned a chilling lesson about the consequences of trespassing into forbidden and haunted places. The asylum's dark history and the torment of the spirits that dwelled within served as a terrifying reminder of the perilous allure of the unknown. As you listen to this tale, remember that some places are best left undisturbed, their secrets buried in the past for a reason. The witching hour at the abandoned asylum serves as a haunting testament to the price one can pay for curiosity, and the perils of venturing into the shadows of places that should never be disturbed. Story 10. The Curse of the Jack-o'-lanterns. In a small and sinister town, where autumn winds whispered secrets through the withered leaves, Halloween night was a time of both celebration and dread. The townsfolk gathered in the center square to take part in the annual pumpkin carving tradition, an event that concealed a dark and ancient curse known to only a select few. Alex, a curious teenager with a penchant for unraveling mysteries, had grown up in the town but had always been an outsider. On this Halloween night, the lure of the town's most enigmatic tradition drew Alex closer to the heart of the community's secret. The townspeople had gathered, each clutching a pumpkin, eager to partake in the age-old ritual. They carved grotesque and sinister faces into their pumpkins, a reflection of the town's dark history. The carvings bore witness to the curse that bound the town, a curse that demanded a sacrifice every Halloween night to appease the malevolent spirits that haunted the town. As Alex watched the carvings unfold, the eerie atmosphere weighed heavily on their shoulders. The faces that emerged on the jack-o'-lanterns seemed to contort with malevolence, their eyes filled with a sinister gleam. The town's tradition, once a source of excitement, had taken on a foreboding and macabre quality. The townspeople carved their pumpkins with a grim determination, their faces somber and their hands trembling. Each of them knew the dark history that was tied to the tradition, the curse that had haunted their town for generations. As the night fell, the townspeople gathered their jack-o'-lanterns, now imbued with an otherworldly glow, and arranged them in a circle in the center square. The flickering candles within the pumpkins cast eerie shadows that danced across the cobblestones. The ritual was about to begin. The town's elder, a mysterious figure with eyes that seemed to hold ancient secrets, stepped forward to guide the ritual. The townspeople recited incantations, their voices trembling, and a palpable sense of dread filled the air. As the incantations reached their climax, the jack-o'-lantern's flames blazed with an unnatural intensity. The ground trembled, and a malevolent presence descended upon the square. The ritual had begun, and the town's fate hung in the balance. As the ritual continued, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that the town was on the brink of a catastrophe. The ancient curse that bound the town demanded a sacrifice, and as the jack-o'-lanterns blazed with an otherworldly fire, the spirits that haunted the town grew more restless. Suddenly, the elder's voice cracked, and the incantation faltered. The ritual had been disrupted, and a sense of panic rippled through the crowd. The town's tradition had been disrupted, and the curse's hunger remained unsatisfied. As the night wore on, the townspeople retreated to their homes, leaving the cursed jack-o'-lanterns in the square. Alex, driven by an insatiable curiosity, remained behind, determined to uncover the truth behind the curse and its malevolent origins. As the moon hung low in the sky, a supernatural force beckoned Alex toward the jack-o'-lanterns. The carved faces on the pumpkins contorted with an eerie life of their own, their eyes locking onto Alex. The pumpkins whispered secrets of torment and sacrifice, and Alex knew that they held the key to breaking the curse that had haunted the town for centuries. With trembling hands, Alex touched one of the jack-o'-lanterns, and a vision of the town's dark history flooded their mind. They saw the curse's origins, the pact that had been made with vengeful spirits, and the sacrifices that had been demanded year after year. The burden of the town's tradition became painfully clear. Alex realized that to break the curse, they would need to confront the malevolent spirits that had haunted the town. The spirits sought vengeance for the sacrifices that had been made, and they were bound to the jack-o'-lanterns, tethered to the cursed tradition. In a daring act, Alex gathered the jack-o'-lanterns and ventured into the town's ancient cemetery, where the spirits were said to dwell. The spirits, restless and malevolent, appeared before Alex, their faces twisted with anger. The showdown was tense, as Alex pleaded with the spirits for forgiveness and understanding. They explained that the town's tradition had perpetuated a cycle of suffering, and it was time to break free from the curse's grip. The spirits' anger began to wane, and they agreed to release the town from the curse. With the spirits' blessing, Alex returned to the town square and shattered the jack-o'-lanterns, the symbols of the town's dark past. As the pumpkins broke, the curse's malevolent presence dissipated, and a sense of relief washed over the town. The townspeople awoke to a new day, the first Halloween in generations free from the curse's shadow. The town's elder, now free from the curse's grasp, thanked Alex for their courage and determination. As you listen to this tale, remember the power of tradition and the weight of ancient curses. The curse of the jack-o'-lantern serves as a haunting reminder that sometimes the most cherished traditions can hold dark secrets, and breaking free from the past's grip requires great courage and determination.